In this episode, you'll learn actual practical tips and strategies to transform your community from dead, unengaged, and relying solely on you into a truly sticky, connected space where members engage with each other, keep each other motivated, and stay for the long term. Welcome to the $1 Million Memberships Podcast, where we help female entrepreneurs like yourself start, grow, and scale multiple 6- and 7-figure online memberships with simple, step-by-step strategies that actually work.
Your life is about to get so good.
Let's dive in. Before we get into this episode, I have some exciting news. Registration is officially open today for my brand new 3-day workshop, which is completely free, by the way, happening November 24th, 25th, and 26th, called the In Her Community Era Workshop. This workshop is designed specifically for you if you have a membership, whether you're brand spanking new and you're just starting, or maybe you're established, you have members in there, but you're just not seeing the growth that you'd like to see inside of your membership. Maybe your community feels really quiet, or you're just really struggling with how to consistently get new member sales and run your membership like a true founder. This workshop is all about building an insanely sticky community that consistently grows without you actually constantly launching, because we know how exhausting that is. And it helps you run it like a true membership CEO with systems, how you show up in the community, how you sell both front end and back end, how you sell without actually being there and selling yourself. We're talking all of the things. This workshop is going to be so freaking valuable. I never skimp on these. I always go all out on these. I know you're going to absolutely love it if you love this podcast. So I'm going to take you through really quick what exactly we're going to be diving into over the 3 days, and then what you're going to get before we get into this episode. So day 1, we're going to be talking about how to get consistent membership sales without launching every month. Day 2, we're diving into what to actually include inside of your membership, and then what's just wasting your time. This one I feel like is really going to surprise a lot of people. Day 3 is going to be how to actually run and scale your membership like a true founder. This is where we talk about systems, how you show up, all of the things. You're going to get live trainings every single day from me. They're going to be about they're usually around 40 minutes. I always tell people just block off an hour just in case, because we always run a Q&A at the end. You also get a chance to just pop in the chat, ask me your own membership questions, and really pick my brain on these calls, which is just so valuable on its own, which every single time I run something like this is just people get so much value, even just from the Q&A time. You're going to get community building assignments that you can actually take action on immediately to start seeing some of the shifts inside of your community right away. You get direct access to me every single day inside of our community. And one of the coolest parts is you're going to just be surrounded by other membership founders who are on the same path as you, which honestly might just be the best part. I find that even just being in a community of other membership founders, other people doing the same things, other people asking their questions, and you being able to really grow your own membership and really expand your way of even thinking or viewing your membership just by seeing what other people are asking and the conversations going on in there. I think that is something that is just absolutely priceless. So you're really going to feel the power of community from just being inside of there. And I know you're just going to walk away feeling so confident about growing your own membership. Plus, being a membership founder and being inside of a community that's kind of run like a membership, I feel like is just always a good idea and always just helps you so much. And here's something absolutely insane. I love a grand prize. If you've ever been a part of a challenge that I've done or a workshop or anything like that, you know I love a grand prize, but I have never, ever given away something this big before. I am going all out on this one. So one of you who come into this workshop is going to be winning a full year inside $1 Million Memberships Club as a VIP Millie. So that is our newest tier of $1 Million Memberships Club. We are just launching it this November. And so I thought that would just be an absolute perfect, like insane, but perfect prize. So our VIP Millie tier, this is full access. Everything is paid. You get immediate access to everything. All of our membership setup guides, all of our membership templates, resources, plug and play resources, everything. Full access to our community, full access to our monthly calls, and VIP tier now includes access to me personally inside of the community. So me answering your questions, you're able to ask me for feedback on things. You really just get access to me inside of the community, which our regular tier, which is called our classic Millie, doesn't have access to me. I'm not in that community giving feedback or answering questions or anything like that. That one is just community based. And if you are a classic Millie, you have access to me on our calls. Obviously, when you come to our calls every month, you can always have access to me there. But as a VIP Millie, you're able to pop your questions into the community every single week, and I'm in there every week. And you are getting support from me and our other $1 Million Memberships trained coaches to answer your questions. So this VIP Millie tier, to have a year access of this, is over $4,000 value. And one person is going to win this just by signing up for the workshop and participating. Literally, that is it. There's no strings attached. You don't have to pay anything. There's no secret fee, no strings attached. So I guess this might be a catch here, is there are only 100 free tickets and the registration is just opening today. So if you're listening to this and you want in, pause this episode right now, head to the first link in the show notes that you see and grab your ticket before they're gone. If you click on that link and the button to get your ticket is still there, that means there's still tickets available. So go there, grab one before they're gone, and then come back here and enjoy this episode. I know you are going to love it. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to $1 Million Memberships podcast. So this is a fun and exciting episode because this is actually an interview that I had done on the Get Unbusy podcast with Kate Philpott. So she had interviewed me probably a couple months ago now. Yeah, a couple months ago at this point. And I just thought it was the perfect episode to post here. Because at the end of this month, we are getting into our In Her Community Era 3-day workshop. And this episode will just completely get the wheels turning about the changes that you can start making or the strategies that you can start implementing inside of your own membership, because we get so into the nitty-gritty of what actually works for membership communities and why most people's membership communities aren't working. And I think this is just going to be such a valuable episode for you, especially if you are planning to come into the In Her Community Era 3-day workshop. This will just go so hand in hand with it. And I think it's just such a good episode to listen to before you come into that workshop. But I absolutely loved this episode. I loved being interviewed by Kate. She was just so fun to talk to. And this episode on her podcast is actually about 40 minutes long, but I just clipped the first 3/4, I would say, of the podcast, because this is where we really talked about the nitty-gritty of building a community and sticky community and what works and what doesn't and all the things. I think you're really going to love it, and let's get into the episode.
Hello and welcome back to the Get Unbusy podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and I am so excited to bring this episode to you today because I am joined by the absolute boss, that is Paige Vandy. Now, I'm going to introduce you to Paige, okay? Paige Vandy is a business coach, a consultant, and membership strategist for female founders who want to scale to 7 figures without burning out. So she used to be a fitness coach, so we have that in common there. And now Paige is the founder of $1 Million Memberships Club, where she teaches her proven framework for building profitable, freedom-based membership businesses. And she's also the host of the podcast, the $1 Million Memberships Podcast, which is a strategic podcast dedicated to building 7-figure online membership communities. And when she's not coaching, you can find her hiking, traveling, in a Pilates class, doing hot yoga, or spending time with her daughter, Gray, and her dog, Merlot. So this is the dream, I feel. And also, Paige is one of our speakers at the Now That's a Membership Summit. Paige, it is so good to have you on here. Welcome to the Get Unbusy podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. And oh my gosh, it's going to be such a fun summit. It looks incredible so far.
I'm obsessed. I know I'm biased, but I'm so obsessed. Like
Yeah.
I'm here like completely starstruck by like the entire lineup. So it's just yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So let's talk memberships, okay? You've said that memberships are like the power move for online coaches and service providers. So in your opinion, what makes that model better than like the typical one-to-one or courses when it comes to client transformation and scaling?
Yeah. The first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to memberships that really stands out from just like one-on-one or the typical is memberships tend to have this thing that I call the power of the pack. When you are in a group of people, whatever the transformation is that you're trying to achieve, whether it's you're trying to lose weight, whether it's you're trying to make more money, whether it's you're trying to strengthen your relationship, when you are with a community and with people, it's been proven you're more likely to get that result being in a community of other people, like-minded people on the same journey as you. I mean, one of the things that really stands out is with one-on-one coaching, while it can be amazing, while you can have that personalized support, customization, all of the stuff, you don't actually see the holistic parts that go into getting that transformation. So for example, when you are working with someone one-on-one, you might be getting the customization, all of the strategy, all the things, but that's not actually what gets you necessarily the result. It's part of it for sure, but that's not what's actually going to lock those results in. Plus we have ChatGPT now, so but
Yeah, I
that's not
know.
what's going to lock that in. And what happens when you're working with your one-on-one coach and you can't stay consistent with your workouts, or you just cannot seem to get your Instagram up and off the ground, or whatever it is that you're trying to do? You, as much as your coach is like, that's part of the process, like, keep going, you're doing great, it doesn't actually register as much as it would when you're actually in a community with other people. When you're in a community with people who, let's just like run with the fitness example, because I feel like that's really common. If you're in a community with other people who are also trying to lose weight or build more muscle or whatever it is, and then you see Sally posting in the group and she's like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. I cannot stay consistent with my morning routine. I keep hitting snooze, like whatever it is. And then you're just like, oh my God, I feel so validated because that's me too. Holy crap, other people, like I've been in this community for 6 months, but she's been in it for 9 months. People still struggle with this stuff. And so all of a sudden, you're more motivated to stay consistent with your goals because not only do you see other people's wins, and that's motivating, but you also see other people's lows, and that helps you really feel not so alone. So there's just consistent motivation within a community. There's bonds that form, which is huge when it comes to memberships, is if you can actually get into a membership and you start creating other connections with people who, again, let's run with the fitness thing, are trying to improve their health and fitness, you're more likely to get that result. You're more likely to stay in there because you're actually bonding with these people. It's like what they say about the 5 people that you surround yourself with. That's who you are. Show me the 5 people you hang out with and I can tell you who you are, kind of situation. When you're actually putting yourself in groups of people who are on that same journey as you, it sticks. And I think that's the huge part with memberships. And that's just the one part of what you asked. And then
I
it comes to
know.
the scaling. And it's just like, okay, well, if you, let's just say, have a group program and it's not a membership base, it's just like 12 weeks, or maybe it's one-on-one or whatever it is. Your people come into there and there's a deadline. And if someone gets to, say, the end of your 12-week program and they don't have their result yet, some people might, sure, stay and re-sign. But also there's going to be a huge camp of people who feel disappointed in themselves that maybe they didn't get the results yet. And then they don't resign because they're like, oh my God, it didn't work for me again. Even though you can say till you're blue in the face, that's just part of the process. People will still have that feeling because of that subconscious, I should have it done by this time because that's when the deadline is. And so there's that where people are going to drop off. And then you're not truly creating a community of people who are working together and like it's a long-term thing. So when you don't create that sort of community, you don't really have that almost, I'm trying to think of the word for it, but you don't really have that like magnetism with your audience who aren't in your memberships, just like your social media audience. You don't really have that magnetism of people being like, oh my God, I want to be inside of this community. It looks amazing, because it's just so up and down. It's open, close, open, close. And so for you, the business owner trying to scale, if you can actually just keep your members inside, create an amazing community, keep getting new members month after month, you're snowballing your income instead of starting over every 3 months.
I love how you just full on dropped a proper masterclass in the first 5 minutes of this podcast. Yeah, just unreal. Okay, so yeah, I know, but you're so right. Like with the psychology piece, relating to people, you're in this community, other people are getting wins. It's it's our own psychology, and it's just like basic psychology as we relate to the people around us. We want to fit in with the people around us. So if there's this group momentum that's happening and we feel like, oh wait, the group is up here at this stage, and like, not that it's so far out that we can't catch up, but it feels like as a whole, like, hey, yeah, I can get to that point and then I can be like in with the cool kids kind of thing. It's just absolutely determines our behavior when it comes to like interacting with an offer. And actually even deeper onto that, so how did you actually create that sense of sisterhood inside your space instead of just hoping it would happen? Because I feel like that's something that people definitely struggle with. It's like, okay, yeah, build community, but like like how
Yeah. Community, it's one of those things that I find a lot of people give up on their memberships too early, because that's what people struggle with, is just creating community. Like, I hear that all the time. I have so much stuff in my membership, but people just aren't talking. It's like I'm talking to this space. There's no one responding, or like people are just responding to maybe my questions and not talking, whatever. The biggest thing when it comes to creating a community inside of a membership is, and where I find a lot of people struggle, especially if you're a coach, like if you come from the one-on-one space, or just like from a space of being on social media and creating content on social media, you're really used to building an audience. You're really used to either posting content and people respond to your content, or you're really used to working with people one-on-one and you two are the focus. It's just back and forth, right? And so technically you're the focus on that. If someone needs something, they come to you. When it comes to memberships, you have to actually do the opposite. You have to have members creating community with each other. So when you're in a membership, you're not creating an audience, you're creating a community. And a community is when members connect with members. So the biggest thing you have to really focus on in the beginning is not like filling your membership full of content. It's not just making sure that you're stuffing it with calls every month. Your biggest priority, especially when you're first trying to scale your membership to maybe that first multiple 6 or 7 figures, is you want to create member to member connection like it is your freaking job. Like, how can you put posts in there where people aren't responding to you? Like, how can you put a post in there where you're not just asking, what are you doing today? What are your goals today? Like, that's so audience based. You need to be coming up with questions or coming up with events or coming up with strategies every single week inside of your membership that it's getting people to connect with each other. And that is the biggest hack. If you can do that, your membership is also going to start selling itself because of the community that you create.
Oh, that's going to be a big shift, going from like audience to community, because I feel, and like I've never actually heard it said that way. So I love that you just brought that up, because absolutely, like, I feel like for years in the online business space, it's been audience, 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 audience. And that's all, top of funnel stuff. It's the stuff before people are in your paid world. And like, of course it makes sense that there's going to be a different approach when they're actually in, and the interaction with them, yeah, it looks different. Like, I just love how simply you explained that. Speaking of, okay, they're interacting. Something else that I find people tend to have a big problem with is, oh, people are joining my membership for a couple months, like 1, 2, 3 months, and then they drop off or they just full on leave. So what would you say that you're doing differently that makes people come in and just stay obsessed?
Yeah, okay. So I think the first things that there's actually three main things that come to mind, if that's cool. The first thing, obviously, is kind of what we just talked about. It's making sure that community building is your absolute primary, making sure that right from the beginning of your membership, like I actually have been talking about this a lot on my podcast, and I just did a workshop on this. It's huge, is that the first 48 hours of someone coming inside of your membership, that is when you need to make sure they have bonded with another member. There's a lot of things you have to make sure in there, but you have to make sure within at least that first 48 hours, they are connected with someone. Because if they are not connected with someone and they're just sitting on the outside, that is going to be one of the first reasons people are going to dip out. They're not going to feel actually brought into your community. So your job, or your community manager's job, or what you're onboarding, you have to have somewhere where there is a task or a structure or a process for them to get introduced to another member. So that's number one. Number two is that you have to have some sort of retention strategy in place every single month, not just like a quarterly thing, not just thinking of it maybe in your onboarding sequence. Like, your retention has to be a very intentional thing every single month inside of your membership. And so, for example, like something that I do in mine is on the 26th of every month, I'm like really starting to talk about what's coming up the next month. I'm really starting to talk about our workshops coming up, or like a challenge, really starting to plant these seeds of what they can look forward to and why they're going to want to stay in the community. Number three is going to kind of be around that, but it's more so they need to understand their path inside of your membership. What is it like? What are they actually going to be doing? Why are they in there? I call it a success path when I teach this. And basically what it is it's just you're giving your members a kind of like a bird's eye view of what they're going to be doing in terms of how they're going to reach their results. So like, for an example, inside of my membership, I teach my 8-step $1 million memberships framework. It's a framework that I take everyone through. It doesn't matter where you're at in your business. It starts from just having a membership idea. And the last step is the blueprint to scale to 7 figures. So through that entire framework, you can imagine there's a lot of stuff in there, but I give my members as part of their onboarding task. So it's literally the first thing they do when they get into my membership. I get them to download that so they know what they're going to be doing. I don't give them everything at once because that's so overwhelming and the worst idea in the world. But I at least show them their success path. And I'm like, look, you're in this membership. We've got a lot to do, but we're going to break it down so easy for you. We're going to break this down week by week for you, and we're going to be doing it together. But that gets them really excited. And it gets them like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I have, because I love to join other memberships as well. And like, that's something I get my clients to do too, is like, just join other memberships, like see what you love, see what you don't love, that kind of thing. But I joined a membership recently. And I got into the membership and I went in for a specific reason. It was like a very specific reason of why I went in there. But then when I got in there, I kind of like got my reason and there was nothing really keeping me in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. There wasn't anything exciting coming up, or there wasn't any like, this is your path. This is your success path inside of here. It was just kind of like everything was given to me at once. And then I could imagine that person who created the membership is like, this is like, I'm giving everyone everything and this is amazing, but it's just, it was overwhelming. Everything was there at once. And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what my steps were. And so either people are going to feel overwhelmed and not want to stay in there, or they're just going to feel bored, like they already got everything, or they just like don't actually know why they're staying in the membership because they don't see their path. So I think those three things are the most important thing for keeping people inside.
Yeah, that's so good. And like, you're so right, because there's a big difference between just having great content versus like tailoring it to actually create a transformation for someone and to get them integrated. And also just something that you said just at the end there about that when you feel like you have everything, okay, you might join and get like this big dopamine hit. I definitely experienced that when I joined a membership and I see like 2-3 years of content. I'm like, this is so fun. This is so exciting. But it does wear off. um, and like then I'm like, oh, okay, now I've just got this big. Now I'm just overcommitted. You know?
Yeah, or it's like even if you have all of that content at once, because like my annual members get all of the content at once, but it's like if you don't have a path or like a roadmap or a checklist for them of how to work through it bit by bit, then that's when it gets to be just like, oh my gosh, get me out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's and like that doesn't even have to be the biggest shift to implement. That's not even like this huge big project necessarily, but
No.
it's just bringing that intention in, and like it can have such a big impact on for both you as the membership owner and for your members. So, yeah, I love that you brought that up.
I think, yeah, like a lot of people don't really think of user experience. You know what I mean? Like how people actually learn. And I mean, that's probably a whole other
Yeah.
podcast, honestly. But I think people, they think that they're doing the right thing by just stuffing everything inside of there and just like trying to put as much as they can because they are afraid of not having enough value inside of their membership. But I think that's such an important point, like you said, is like it's really not that much of a task, or it's maybe like a week project and it's going to change the entire trajectory of your business.
Yeah, no, it's actually there's something as well that before we do completely move on from community is okay, so you've got this community, but also how do you have like it's just because I'm the host of the Get Unbusy podcast, I want to see from your perspective the boundaries side of things. Like, how do you have a thriving community with that creates connection and all of that without constantly being the glue that holds that whole community aspect together?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really like setting the standard for your membership in the beginning, and that's going to be done through your onboarding. So I think there's a lot of different pieces that you're going to want to do. Like for me, I make sure that my members know the community is the glue. Like we like connect with each other. They can literally see through the type of posts that we do inside that they're connecting with each other. I try and take myself out of it as much as possible, and I just try and connect people. And so I guess it's kind of like two parts. So I would say the first part here is I make it very clear of when I'm in the community. And I also make it very clear of like how I work inside of the community. I think people are scared to do that and like don't want to come across as like cold, or like they just want people to think that it's so valuable. So they want to throw themselves in there and then they end up burning out. But I make it very clear that I answer personal questions on our calls. And that's when, if you want like personal support on your membership, make sure that you come to our call. Right. And that gets people coming to the calls, which is great because that creates community as well. But I'm very clear about that. I'm also very clear of when I'm in the community: Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's when I'm in there. And then for me, I find that by having those boundaries, and then sometimes here and there, I'll pop in the community and do like a whole response to someone's question. And I feel like then people are like, oh my God, because they weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do the opposite and you just kind of like shy away from creating boundaries because you don't want to upset people, and then you're not in there all the time, people are like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Why? Like, this is the worst. She's like not supporting us. So I feel like it's better to really under promise your boundaries and like set your boundaries, and then occasionally if you want to, you don't have to, but occasionally if you want to, do a little over deliver. That's huge.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that is obviously, again, like I said, getting members to connect with members. That's the biggest thing. So for me, when someone comes into our community, we have a first week protocol with like my community manager and myself. Like I'm in there too. And in that first week that someone joins our membership, we're really like monitoring them. We're monitoring to see if they have logged into the community. And then if they've made their introduction post, we're really like monitoring those things. And as soon as they make their introduction post, either myself or my community manager is in there reading it and immediately matching them with someone that we think they need to connect to. So like, for instance, there's someone who joined and she was like an Airbnb specialist.
Okay.
And then there was someone else who I knew joined, and she was like somewhere in the real estate or like design, luxury, what kind of rental market as well. And we get that because we obviously have intake forms too. We can see everything when someone comes into our membership. There's very systemized there. But we're always matching. We're saying, oh my gosh, welcome to the membership. That's amazing. Also, I'm going to tag this person here. I think that you guys would love to connect, or I think you guys should connect because of X, Y, and Z. And so we're always trying to connect people and then just like take ourselves out of it a little bit.
I love that. That's such a fun idea. No, I really do. Like I actually haven't seen that done, and I feel like if I was on the receiving end, I would really appreciate that rather than, like you said, kind of feeling like I'm on the outside. If I join a membership and like there's like, I don't know, 100, 200, 1,000 people in some Facebook group, and I'm like, oh, hi, I don't know, like I'm shy, hi.
Yeah, like what do you post? Like you don't know anyone in there.
Yeah,
And
I'm not gonna go tag some random person. I don't know them. Like, yeah, so that's so helpful. And like you as the owner and your community manager as the community manager has that kind of oversight of the kind of people that are in there. So
yeah.
And then also what you're saying about the boundaries thing, and I know you kind of like hesitated on the under promise, but like I fully get where you're coming from, because we only have so much capacity. I'm gonna set boundaries that are, I can still fulfill this even if I'm having a low energy week. I can still fulfill this even if it's just a busier week. Like if I feel like, oh yeah, I'm in the community from this time to this time every single day, I will reply within 60 minutes. I'm gonna need everything else to be very calm or I'm not gonna be able to fulfill that. And then that's obviously just super stressful. Whereas I've said this before as well, it's like kind of like setting the bar low so that you fulfill what's expected, sure, and you can also, when you have the capacity, go above and beyond and like surprise and delight, like you said. So it feels like a bonus. It feels like even more abundant for everybody involved,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to go the opposite. You don't want to over promise and under deliver.
Yeah. And do you know what? I learned that lesson the hard way at the beginning of my membership journey. So
Hi guys, it's me again, just solo sitting here by myself. This is where I ended the podcast episode where I clipped it, because then we start getting into some other membership topics, but I really wanted to keep this one to building community, to keep it really digestible for you and get you really prepped for the workshop coming up in November. So again, if you loved this episode and you are currently building out a membership, whether you are just starting it and you are in the very beginning stages, or you've had your membership for a little while and it's just not growing the way that you want it to grow. Maybe the community is not as active and engaged as you want it to be, or maybe you just don't have a solid sales plan, or maybe you have a lot of members inside, but your systems are just garbage, for lack of a better word, and that you just need that support in really bringing this thing together and running it like a true membership founder. Maybe it's a combination of all of those things. Whatever it is for you, if you loved this episode, I know you're going to absolutely love being inside of our 3-day workshop coming up November 24th to the 26th. So if you are not signed up, we are releasing 100 tickets completely free. So if this sounds like something you want to do, I wouldn't wait on it. I would go snag your ticket right away. And the fun part is the sooner you're in, the sooner you can actually get in our community. Our community is open now for anyone to come in. The workshop is going to be starting on the 24th, but you can get yourself in the community. You can start chatting to others in there. You can start connecting with other membership founders. It's just going to be such a vibe. And the fact that you can win a year membership instead of $1 Million Memberships Club in our VIP Millie tier is just the icing on the freaking cake with that one. So I hope to see you inside. Go to the first link that you see in the show notes, grab your ticket, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.